Hello and welcome to Wildcat Week as we bring you the best of Indiana Wesleyan University sports, highlights, and updates. I'm Tim Tedeschi. To get things started, the men's baseball team recently traveled down to Bethel, Tennessee. The Wildcats lost 3 of 4 games while they were down there to make their record 6-8 on the season. Head coach Rich Benjamin joins me now to talk about their season so far. Coach, thanks for joining me here on Wildcat Week. And let's talk about that 2 doubleheaders you played down at Bethel. You guys were scoring a lot of runs, but it seemed like Bethel was scoring a little bit more. What did you think about the weekend there?
Yeah, well, we're 8-6 overall right now. And, to play over 500 in February is kind of a content place to be if there's such a thing with losing. February baseball is always a little bit ugly, as every team tries to find their own identity and get into a rhythm. I thought our at-bats were really professional. We fielded the ball pretty well as well. And, really the separator was just some young bullpen arms that are going to be really good long term. They're just getting their feet getting their feet wet right now.
And looking at some of those offensive performers, Andrew Breitenbach hit some home runs for you as well as Brandon Schaefer. What do you think of the way that those 2 guys have been performing so far?
Well, Breitenbach is someone who carries himself well in really every phase of life, and he's put on a healthy 20 pounds plus since he's arrived on campus a year ago. And he's turned himself into a really mature player, and so his at-bats have been really good. Brandon Schaefer, as a senior, he had a really good junior year for us last year. But we saw some things that could keep progressing his game, and both players are really, really coachable, and both have made huge adjustments. And so Schaefer's 2-strike approach and his ability to use the whole field and get into good counts has all been really, really good. So I expect them to be able to maintain their success.
And what does it mean for you as a coach now, a few years into the job, being able to have some of those guys that you recruited and playing your style of the game more and more?
Sure. Yeah, I thought last year, in my first year here, I thought our guys really committed to playing the game a certain way. We had 11 seniors, and they really committed themselves to a really healthy process, and I think we maximized who we were. But it is nice to see, like Schaefer's a returner that had success, but yet he's building on it as far as what he has to do to get better. And then, to see Breitenbach, his brother Alexander, has pitched really well for us out of the bullpen. And, you have Kyle Hall and Eater both back as well. And so it's nice to see them, everybody keep progressing. That's always rewarding as a coach and as a program.
And heading into your spring break trip here, you're actually leaving right after this and heading down to Tennessee to take on Cumberland, and then on to Georgia to face Lourdes down there. What are you looking forward to, and what do you want to see out of your team on the spring break trip?
Sure. Well, it'll be, last week we played Tuesday and then again on the weekend. It was nice to get into a little bit of a rhythm. The spring break time is great, just to get a chance to get away, and we have 10 games scheduled. And, for us right now, it's just about getting reps, just playing, and we're starting to figure out who we are as a team. The guys are starting to figure that out, and what they have to do as individuals to keep progressing. And so now we just got to go play, and so just kind of prove it to ourselves as far as, the adjustments we've made from week to week, and just keep building as we get close to conference. And so it'll be nice to go down to Cumberland, and they've won 3 national championships. They have a great facility, and we'll be down there Friday, Saturday. Then to be a perfect game in Georgia for the midweek will be great. It's a nice facility. Then we'll be at home Friday, Saturday at the end of the spring break.
And the weather here over the past few weeks has been really great at points and really awful at other times.
Sure.
Do you feel like you've had a chance to get a little more outside practice than normal, or has it been about the same?
It's been a lot more. We've probably got on the field 4 times and compared to 0, and so, and even like last Monday, we were able to get out there, we were able to inter-squad, take on the field BP. The field was in really good shape, and so we're just waiting for our construction projects to finish up, which are going to be a huge blessing to the program, and once that's done, we'll be able to officially play home games and get things rolling.
And looking forward, after spring break, you come back, have 12 games before the Crossroads League season starts, and what are you looking forward to in that Crossroads League season?
Well, it's really, you just compete, that's it. You try to win as many pitches as you can, and so, what I'm excited for is we've had a really nice progression in our development as a program and as individual players, and your people are your organization, they are your culture, and so our guys ask really good questions every day, they develop every day, and so we just want to see that progression put us in a position where we can be competing well day one in conference. And the conference is going to 3-game sets this year, which I think will be really advantageous to quality baseball and a lot of 9-inning baseball as well. And so I think that we're built to do that effectively, but we just got to get some reps underneath our belt to put us in position to do that.
And just overall, where do you see the identity of your team right now? And as you get closer to Crossroads League season and even postseason play, where do you want that identity to take you?
Sure. Well, I feel like we're really athletic up the middle. We're really strong up the middle, and that matters in baseball. I think our corner guys can swing it, and they're functional defensively. We have our top, John Young and Austin Swift have thrown really, really well, at the top end for us. And right now we're really, we're trying to figure out one position and a couple bullpen arms and maybe a fourth starter. But, I think once that happens over the next 10, 12 games, the identity is going to be guys that really compete well at the plate, and they're not afraid to get into some deep counts and cover the fastball, and we're just going to attack. I mean, that's kind of been who we are. We've been the aggressor last year, and we'll do the same thing this year. And so we're getting a feel for that. I think the at-bats have been way cleaner than what we saw early on last year against good competition, and I really trust our middle infield play and our center field play and both of our catchers. And so I think all these things are really positive over the long term with including postseason, about a 65-game season. So it's a lot. We're on the front end of it, but I think just based on how our guys are wired, the identity is if you play Indiana Wesleyan, they're going to compete every pitch for every inning, regardless of the score, and try to play the game the right way. So.
Well, thank you very much, Coach, and good luck on that spring break trip. When we come back, football coach Jordan Langs will give us an update on their program's progress. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Wildcat Week. We're joined now by the head football coach of the Wildcats, Jordan Langs, to get an update on what's been going on as we enter the spring here at Indiana Wesleyan. Coach, thanks for joining me. And since the last time you were here on Wildcat Week, you've added a few more names to the coaching staff. First, let's talk about Evan Knight, your new defensive coordinator. Talk a little bit about his experience and what you're expecting.
Yeah, Coach Knight. Coach Knight comes to us with a wealth of experience from a football standpoint. So he's come from St. Francis in Pennsylvania. It's a Division I FCS school playoff team. Coached the linebackers there the last 2 years, and he comes here exactly kind of what we needed from a defensive guy. Is a guy who is sharp, a guy who's really bright, and a guy who is organized and thoughtful and understands what it means to run a defense. And then couple that with his enthusiasm for the mission of the school. We're really excited about him.
You've also added Chris Moore to be your run game coordinator and assistant head coach, and he actually helped start another football program at Alderson Broaddus. What does he bring to the table here at Indiana Wesleyan?
Yeah, so he brings a different set of experience. His experience is starting a school or starting a program at AB, and then also most recently he was the offensive coordinator at Trinity International, which is in our conference. So he understands what it means to be in a Christian environment and coach football, and then also to do it within our conference. And we were excited for him. He saw the value in it and decided to come to a startup program and take a demotion in some ways. And we're excited about his knowledge of how to start a program and how to be in a Christian environment, and then also along with the football. So we're excited.
And what does that mean for you coming here by yourself, and now you got started with 2 full-time coaches, now you're up to 4 on your staff? How does that make you feel to see things really coming together on the coaching staff?
I think we're at the point now in the process where it's ready to start to see a proof of concept, and the coaching staff is the first kind of step to that. And to see guys come around this, the vision of the institution, the vision of the program, and just do a great job of expanding it, and it's shown in recruiting. And to see those guys come and embody that has been really exciting. And to see them come from different backgrounds or different places, and guys that I didn't even know before the process, these last 2 guys. So we're excited about that, and they'll do a great job. And
you mentioned recruiting there. You were looking for the first 50, and you've already blown past that, up to 58 recruits as of right now. And what does that mean for the program to see that you've already passed where you want to be, but obviously still have a ways to go?
Yeah, so we wanted to get 50. We know that's what we needed from a minimum standpoint, and those first 50 guys are special to us. I mean, they bought into it, and just how the reality of recruiting happens, you're always going to end up with a few more than you expect. And so now we're just kind of moving into a player-by-player basis to decide if it's someone that is going to fit the program and fit the institution and is a good enough football player to be here, part of the team. So we're excited about the kids that we have. We probably have 1, 2, 3, 4 more kids to add. And then we'll hold a trial here on campus for current students. And so we're looking at probably being anywhere from 60 to 70 kids come August. And that's another thing that's starting to take shape. And we'll have some of those kids down on campus for Admitted Students Weekend here in a couple weeks. And it'll be cool to have everyone together, or at least some of the class together all at once.
And looking at some of the recruits, I was looking before, and there's a number of kids right from here in Grant County. What does that mean for you as a program to be able to recruit locally, but then also all around the country?
Yeah, so we have 4 or 5 local kids. We're actually going to end up adding that. We'll be close to 7, 8, 9 Grant County kids, which we're really excited about. We want to be Grant County's team, make no bones about it. And so we're going to work. We want kids, if the kid fits the mission and the kid's good enough to be here from a football perspective, we want him at Indiana Wesleyan. And then locally, and then nationally, we got 13 states represented in this class right now. So it shows the type of influence that the brand IW's already established, what it has on the recruiting trail. And so it's great to have the local kids, and you have the kind of the semi-local kids, and then you branch out to 13 other states or 12 other states. So that's been exciting.
And looking forward, you see the construction keep going over on the stadium and the facility. Have you checked that out a little bit more, seen the progress recently?
Yeah, so we're on a bi-weekly construction meeting all the time. Coach DeMichael and myself are. It's been awesome to see. It's humbling. It's humbling to see the type of support that we have. We're actually, the staff and I and some of the construction team and the facilities managers will go through and tour the facility tomorrow and kind of see even more of the progress and the update. And from what I understand, it's moving along really nicely, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's just something that the fans are going to be proud of in the community, and now it's our job to fill the seats.
And I've seen, not only are you busy with the recruiting, getting your coaching staff, but you've been all over Grant County, all over campus, doing the Wildcat Iron Chef, going to the Rotary Club, all kinds of things. So can you walk through kind of what a typical day is for you here at Indiana Wesleyan?
Yeah, that changes, and that's been the exciting part, honestly. Part of that is being able to do those things is because the guys that have decided to come along and join me and that coaching staff, guys that I trust to handle more of the football side of it. And then my job as the head coach is to be an ambassador, is to be someone who promotes IW and IW athletics, and then also chance to get to know people and to branch out and to make different connections. And we want IW football in as many places as humanly possible, and that's been our approach. And so we were at Eastbrook this morning, and then just came back from Madison Grant. We've been up and down and left and right and all over the place, and it's been fun.
And very quickly, with the recruiting class you have, are you starting to see kind of what the identity of this team will be as far as scheming goes?
I think we're still not. I think that won't necessarily be seen until after we put together the second class, because these are 2 classes that we're going to go into 2018 with. But we're moving towards what needs to happen on both sides of the ball. I need to establish the run on the offensive side and stop the run defensively. And that starts with the offensive defensive line, which we're really excited about. So we're moving there, we're progressing, but I still think we got a little ways to go.
Thanks so much, Coach, for stopping in. We'll check in with you every once in a while here on Wildcat Week.
Awesome.
When we come back, the Wildcats played 2 very close games in the Crossroads League tournament. Men's basketball head coach Greg Tonagel joins me to break down those games. Don't go away. Back to Wildcat Week. The men's basketball team traveled to Bethel College to face off against the Pilots in the Crossroads League championship game. The Wildcats fought hard in this game, but an early lead and hot shooting led the Bethel Pilots to an 83-75 win. Junior Grant Evans scored 18 points while shooting 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Senior Lane Mahurin recorded a double-double in the loss, finishing with 14 points and 10 rebounds. Before the championship game, the Wildcats welcomed the Cougars of St. Francis University to Lucky Arena for a semifinal game. Cougars led the Wildcats 33-32 at halftime. This game would feature 8 ties and 12 lead changes, with all of those ties and lead changes coming in the second half of this game. Went into the locker room trailing 33-32. Then in the second half, the Cougars came out strong, but the Wildcats would battle the whole rest of the way. You see Jacob Johnson inside. Each team had a possession to try to win the game in the final seconds. Kyle Sovine hit that 3, but then with 9 seconds left, then Bob Peters, with a second on the clock, hit that buzzer beater game-winning shot to send the Wildcats to the Crossroads League championship game. Junior Jacob Johnson scored 27 points while shooting 12 of 14 from the field. Senior Lane Mahurin also scored 18 points and grabbed 8 rebounds in the victory. After 2 very close games, I'm joined now by men's basketball head coach Greg Tonagel. Coach, thanks for being here. Let's first talk about that St. Francis game and that shot. Can you talk about what was going on in the huddle in that timeout before Bob hit that shot?
Well, we went in the huddle and announced that we were going to play for Bob. You could just sense this confidence that everybody had. There's a belief in Bob because Bob's got a pretty high level of moxie, and the team trusted him and believed in it. And we walked out of that huddle, even though it was a ridiculous shot. I mean, they couldn't have guarded it any better. Bob found a way to put it in.
And just the confidence that you have in guys like Bob and Lane, especially the seniors, having seen them do it time and again, what does that mean for you as a coach? Well,
I believe in those guys. We've played a lot of games together. We've played in big games together. I mean, those guys have played in a lot of different tournament championships. They've been on regular season championships. They've played in 2 national championship games. So I don't think the stage is ever too big for those guys. And when they're on that stage, they're really focused on making others better. So it's a great combination to have. And the staff trusts them, but more importantly, their teammates trust them.
We're going to take a look at some highlights of the Bethel game in just a minute. But going into that Bethel game, obviously the mindset, you want to get that tournament championship. But what was the mindset and practice going into that game like?
Well, we were just trying to improve. The first couple times we played them, there were some areas I felt like we were really weak in, and we knew they were going to attack some of those areas. And so we were just focused on that day in preparation for Bethel, knowing that obviously winning on the road is going to be difficult in this league. It was a great opportunity, but either way, we were going to move on to the national tournament.
Take a look at some highlights there. Attacking earlier, but Bethel definitely came to play as well. You see there back and forth. What did you think of the defensive effort the Wildcats put out at Bethel?
I was pretty pleased defensively. Other than rebounding, I thought we held our own. Now, rebounding is obviously a big piece of defense, so that was disappointing. But we did a pretty good job of containing and contesting, which we hadn't done in the prior 2 games up to that.
I was going to mention Bethel out-rebounded the Wildcats 46-26. How important was that down the stretch of this game?
It was important. I mean, those possessions were big. You get that first initial stop, but only to give up an offensive rebound. That can be really frustrating.
Take a look there. Lane working, he can work inside, and now he's worked that outside, that mid-range jumper. What does it do for you as Lane's progressed, even adding that outside 3-point shot now, knowing he can really score from anywhere on the floor?
It just gives us more versatility and gives us more options, and guys are figuring out how to create spaces for him to operate, and that's why we've gotten better over the course of the year.
See there, Bethel really pushing the tempo on that fast break, but the defense able to come up with that and then push it the other way, leading to the 3-point shot there. Trevor Waite finished with 11 points in this game off the bench, and he's been huge defensively as well for you.
Trevor's been playing great, and when you get that type of play off your bench, it's going to spur everybody on, and Trevor's a big piece to what we're doing right now.
See the halftime score there, 42-39. I want to talk as well about Grant Evans. He finished with 18 points in this game. What have you thought of his performance down the stretch here?
Well, we needed that from Grant. He really came up big. He put in some time this week, and when he knocks down shots, our offense goes to the next level.
So they're continuing to push. Joel Okafor, he really has been huge in the tournament. What have you thought of his performance, especially on the defensive end?
Joel's brought a ton of energy. Joel's got the respect of his teammates. He's just bringing that edge that this team needs, and he's going to continue to earn opportunities.
And getting down to the stretch run of this game, Bethel would go on an 8-0 run at one point at the end of the game. What was going on in that sequence?
We were pressing a little bit. Came down to some end of shot clock situations that we didn't defend very well. Ochen's a heck of a player, and he made plays down the stretch.
And even not being able to come out with the tournament championship, but just playing this game, being able to play in a tight game in a hostile environment, what does that do going forward into the tournament?
Well, hopefully you can build a little bit of momentum. I mean, I'm not the one that likes to say losing's fine and, hey, we played them tough. I mean, bottom line is we didn't go in there and get the job done. So hopefully that creates an edge for us as we continue this week in preparation for the tournament.
You see there, that final last-second shot. Moving forward to the tournament, you got the seeding and all of that figured out, number 1 seed, and you're taking on Corbin College out of Oregon, and they're really a Cinderella out there in the Cascades Collegiate Conference. They were an 8 seed, took down 3 seeds higher than them, scored 100-plus points in every game. Have you been able to look at some film of them? What kind of team are they?
Well, we've started the process, and I'm just blown away by how hot they are right now. To not only win their first conference tournament game as an 8 seed over one by 30 points, but then to follow that up with a 20-point victory, and then to win the championship game by 15. I mean, they've got it going right now. They can really shoot the basketball, but they can also rebound, which that provides a unique dynamic that's pretty difficult to defend. So this isn't your typical first-round matchup for a 1 seed, but you know what? Everybody that's playing this time of year is good, and we're excited about the opportunity and the challenge.
And what does it mean to have veteran guys on your team that's been there before, even just last season, taking it all the way, to know that you can't look past this first round and taking it each game at a time?
That's huge. I mean, our guys have been in this tournament now 4 consecutive years, our seniors, and they understand. I mean, seeding's somewhat irrelevant at this point because the NAIA, there's so many good teams spread across the country. There's a lot of parity. If you get caught looking at the seeding, you're looking at the wrong thing. You got to focus in on yourselves first and foremost, and then you got to understand that every team coming in there understands it's the last go-round. They're all playing with a sense of urgency, and nobody wants to go home.
And looking forward to the tournament, obviously over the last few years, it's been more than just basketball, a lot of spiritual formation and other things like that. Off the court, what are you most looking forward to as you head to Branson?
My favorite time of the year because of that, because we're going on spring break, so we get to focus in on one thing, and that's our relationship with the Lord. And so we really, truly play out to what we call the I am third mentality. It's going to be God first. Even though we're in the middle of our busiest time, it's supposed to be the highlight of the year in terms of basketball. You have to have your priorities in check. And so for us, it's pursuing that first. We're going to push each other as teammates. We're going to bring speakers in. We're just going to hone in on some growth, and it's a fun time of year. And then meanwhile that, we're going to play basketball as a team and hopefully send these seniors out having the best experience they could have.
That was going to be my last question. The 4 seniors, Lane, Bob, Aaron Murray, and Nate Bubash, they've been a huge part of the success the last 4 years. What are you looking forward to seeing them in their last few games as Wildcats?
Well, you talk about turning a page in the book right now with this group, because they came in as freshmen, won a national championship, won one last year. They've just been such a big part of this program, and they're going to mean a lot to this program long term when we look back. But just want to enjoy the ride with them as young men and enjoy just the different transformations I've seen in each of them. I'm confident each of them are going to go out in the world and make an impact as leaders, not only in their jobs and their communities, but in their families, which is exciting.
Well, thanks so much, Coach, for stopping in, and good luck as you head to Branson. Once again, the next game for the Wildcats will be on Thursday, March 9th, as they travel to Point Lookout, Missouri for the NAIA National Tournament. The number 1 seed Wildcats face off against the number 8 ranked Corbin Warriors from Oregon in the first round. The game will be at approximately 1 p.m. That's all we have for you this week. If you'd like to see more of Wildcat Week, you can visit our website at wiwutv.com to see past episodes and be able to connect with us online. Again, that's wiwutv.com. Look forward to being back with you next week. For all of us here, thanks for watching Wildcat Week.